Your industrial brand's digital presence probably sucks. I'm going to show you why. If you're new to the channel, new to seeing my face, you could check out a lot of content over on YouTube, over 950 videos talking about industrial marketing and industrial sales. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get into today's show and episode. What are we talking about? We're talking about build a strong industrial brand digitally. Let's go through point number one. The first thing that you have to understand is a simple 3 numbers, 24/7. Your digital brand is live 24/7. This does not matter if you are doing industrial services or have industrial products or are a distributor or doing automation or doing plastics. It does not matter. Your brand is live 24/7. So you have to keep that in consideration when you're looking at what am I going to do with my brand? It's always out there. It is the salesperson that never sleeps, your brand. Whether it is on website, social, people are up at all hours of the day. We've had people book calls with us at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Why are they thinking about marketing? They came across something and said, you know what? I want to book time to talk with these guys. The same is true for you. Back when I was working directly in industrial sales and industrial marketing, I made sure that our company's brand was always in sync, always looked the same, always up to snuff, always running and rolling and ready to accept all of that traffic. So with knowing that it's 24/7, how much are you guys paying attention to your brand? Do you feel like you should make some adjustments? Now, typically industrial companies, they don't really update things very frequently. It's usually 3 to 5 years is the time frame. Like everybody that we talk to, prospects and customers, it's been a few years since they have updated anything on their web presence, anything on their social, if they're even doing social. They're just doing things the same way, and that's part of the issue. Now, with the issue is that they don't really know what to do, which is why I'm creating this content for you guys. I'm going to tell you what is the importance behind it and what you can do and actions you can take today. But first, wrap your head around the fact that it is 24/7. So you need to place a lot of importance around what does your brand look like, what's the look and feel, what content are you pushing out, etc. If you agree that it's 24/7, now it's time to do a little bit of auditing. So I want you guys to audit your existing brand and do it objectively. Do it from like a third person's point of view. Don't look at it as you, the owner, because it might just piss you off. Look at it from a standpoint, or you may be like, no, it's good. It's good. Like our brand is good. Like our website's good. Our logo's good. But here's the things I want you to look at. Number one, your website. If I was to look at your website, would I see uniformity across all the pages of your website? Would I see that the information, the way you have it laid out, the menu structure, everything in between, does it all sync together? Does it make sense even? If you look at your Google Analytics, most likely there's about a 99% chance, maybe 98% chance that your homepage is the top most landed on page of your website. That's just true with most websites. Now, some people that we talk to and some of our clients that we're working on, their homepages, 80, 90% of their organic traffic land on their homepage first. If you don't know how to get into that, go into Google Analytics 4, look at the pages, look at top landed on pages. It gives you a list based on sessions or based on users. What page are they going to first? And that gives you insight into the first thing that they see. Usually it's the homepage. At least 50% of your traffic is homepage. Now, the goal should be make that not the first page. You want that to drive down to where you have your services, your products, your product categories, whatever it is that you guys do, those should be the top landed on pages if you're trying to drive traffic to a specific category. So if you sell some things and you have a specific product category that you're trying to push, you want that page to be the number one landed on page because you're doing all these other marketing things, right? But if you just look at it and say, somebody comes to my homepage, they don't know us, they don't know anything about us, it's brand new cold traffic, or maybe they've seen some things through social, or they've talked to a salesperson, seen us at a trade show, and you look at that homepage, what do you see? Does it easily tell a story? Is it having call to actions in place to drive them to the next part? Most often, The industrial companies, their website menu structure is way too busy. They're like, oh, you could go to this, on the product side especially, you can go to this category, then it's a second level indented menu structure, then you go into this subcategory, and you can see these specific products, and people can go all the way through. You don't want it to be like that. You want to control the navigation. If somebody comes to the site, you want to be able to control the navigation and say that I want them to go from this page in the menu structure into a category page, click on that. Then they go into the category page, and then from there they can go deeper into specific products, maybe using filters if you got a Magento 2 or an e-com platform, but all of that plays into it. But you want to make sure that if they first see your site for the first time, what is it going to look like? And most times, if you're really true about auditing your site, you're going to say, yep, it's not the best. So write all of those notes down of what you want to change. Making changes to websites is easy. It's not a big deal. You just need to look at it and say, this is a list of things that I think should be better. Now, after you go into your website, look at all of the images. Look at all of the copy. What are the words that you're saying? What are the headlines that you're saying? What are the images that you're putting out? Are those images outdated? Again, it's 24/7. So any changes that you make are only going to improve the brand, and you can see those changes live. And you might miss an opportunity because you're like, no, you know what? It's fine for now. But if you make this one tweak and somebody comes to your site in 3 days, that could mean the difference, making some updates. Even simple copy changes, even adding some more copy to it can make the difference. If you also look at it from a search results standpoint, when people are Google searching, what shows up? Have you ever gone and Google searched every single one of your main key phrases? Let's just take the top 12. Take the top 12 keyword phrases that are important to you and Google search them and look at what shows up. Oftentimes our clients are like, hey, I want to rank for this phrase. And it's a super general phrase. And I'm like, and I don't want to go down a tangent with this SEO stuff, but do you really want to rank for that phrase? Because if you look at what's showing up, it's so general. You've got Amazon, you've got people doing Google search ads with shopping carts, you've got Home Depot you're competing with, you got all these different things, and then way, way, way down at the bottom, after you scroll for like 2 minutes, then you get to your competitors. But you have to look at it. If it's a phrase that you're ranking number one for, what does it look like? What does your company look like? What is the meta title that's being returned by Google? What's the description? All of that plays into the whole brand identity. But most oftentimes people think brand identity, digital brand identity, it's colors, logos, images, shapes, etc., font sizes and types. While all of that is important, that's to your brand identity. When we're talking about digital, we're talking about everywhere. If I search you, if I go on social to find you, if I'm looking at your competitors, if I'm going to trade shows, if I'm looking on maps, if I'm going into YouTube, however I'm searching, if I'm your target demographic, how do you guys show up? Does everything look uniform? Does everything have the same vibe? Does everything have the same messaging out there? Are your products showing up where you want them to show up? So on the SEO side, you have to make sure that your search results are showing up the way you want them to come up. Because again, everything's about timing, especially in industrial. There's nothing more important than timing. Somebody can search today for a service, or you can call them today and pitch your stuff, and they're like, no, I don't have a need. Then something changes at their company. Let's say you're doing like supply chain stuff. You call the supplier, or you call the commodity manager, and they're like, nope, I'm good with my supply chain. Then something happens with one of their key vendors in their supply chain. If you would have called them 3 hours later, 3 days later, 3 weeks later, like, actually, I do have a need. So that's why you have to constantly be doing this. Everything's constantly moving. The world is constantly turning. And if your brand isn't up to snuff, or at least if you're not making changes and have a roadmap of what to make, then when people do search for you, they're not going to like what they see. It could be a missing phrase. They look at you in the search results and like, oh, if they just said this thing, then I would have clicked on that. But instead, I clicked on the people below them. So it's important to Google search yourself, Google search your own company, Google search people, high up officials in your company, Google search the keyword phrases, Google search your competitors. Look at what are they showing up as, audit them versus you. Like, you're not trying to copy them, but you want to see if you put yourself in the shoes of your potential customer, what do they see when they're looking for what it is that you do? So you got to check those search results. The next aspect is going to be social. If, like, we know everybody's on LinkedIn, especially in industrial, everybody you're trying to go after is on LinkedIn in some fashion, not necessarily always active. If I'm trying to go after a sales or a marketing person, it's going to be easier than going after like an engineer or like a maintenance manager. They're not typically on LinkedIn all the time. Sales and marketing more frequently, maybe presidents, the similar to sales and marketing. But when they do come on LinkedIn, is your content showing up in front of them? And if it is, what is that content? Are your salespeople reaching out to them? And if they are, what do those salespeople's profiles look like? So you have to look at it and say, on social, what does my company page look like? What's the logo? What's the banner image? What's the copy? What's the button? If somebody wants to learn more, where does that take them to? This is all about your identity. This is like, you only get first impressions once, right? Everybody's heard of that phrase. But your first impression is out there all the time. You have no control over it. People can come and find you whenever they want. They just need to search. Like, and now with AI, it's taking it even further. People can just get what they want by using AI integration. So if they're searching for you, how do you show up? When's the last time you went through and said, you know what, I'm going to tear down this about us for our LinkedIn page? That's from our homepage from 6 years ago. I'm going to change that copy. Where's that button go to? Did you know you can add additional areas to the new features that LinkedIn's pushed out on the company page? There's product categories, specialties, there's hashtags that you can put in place. What is it that you do? What service do you offer? What do you care about? Especially in your personal profile, changing every single month. They're constantly updated. So this is no longer a set it and forget it type of thing, which is typically how industrial companies do it. Oh yeah, my website, I built that 10 years ago. We're good. Are you good though? Like, are you really good? Nothing's changed in the last 10 years for your product or service. Nope, everything's exactly the same. Okay, cool. Guess what? Web design has changed a lot in the last 10 years, and it needs to all be redone. And it needs to all be updated because people are used to looking like this, and you're still looking like 10 years ago. And they're not going to like that interaction. The identity that you have online does not depict what it is your identity that you have in person, right? So you have to look at that and say, on social, if people search for me, if my salespeople are pushing out there and sending out connection requests, number one, I always tell them, update your profile. And with our clients, your profile has to be up to date. Your headline does not say sales engineer at ABC company. It says what you do, what you offer. That's step one. What does your about us, what does your about me tell you? Like, what are you saying to people? Do you have hashtags you're following? Do you have services that you're offering? Do you have featured links below that are linking back to your company page, a video you did, something like that? What's your personal brand and how is that attached to identity of your company? When I go into your history of your job employment history, what am I going to see? Oh, I've been at the same company for 26 years. All it says is sales at this company. You need to build your trust with me. That's what the identity is all about. If I'm coming after you and I'm trying to determine, do I even want to click more into it? You have to build that trust. The only way to build that trust is to put stuff out there that people can read on their own time. I think everybody would agree that the days of like having to find information and ask people to sell to them are over. Everybody, it's like the educated customer, right? They can just do all the research themselves and then reach out to you when they need something. But while they're doing that research, what's the taste in the mouth that they have of your brand? Both your company brand and your personal brand. So salespeople have to be on board with that. You should be auditing all of your salespeople's LinkedIn profiles if they're using LinkedIn as a sales tool, which 100% they should be. LinkedIn can make them so much money. So much money. Commission, revenue for you guys. It's all about being aware in that space. And there's underpriced attention because most industrial people are still sleeping on LinkedIn. They're like, yeah, I'm on there. I'm adding connection requests. And I just grab that contact, throw them into my CRM system, and I email market them. Maybe I make calls to them. But stay within the same ecosystem. Build a connection, engage with them, send them connection requests, engage with their content, send them something that's valuable, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on and on about that. If you look at your company page on LinkedIn, what posts are you doing? What's the frequency of your posts? What is the content of your posts? What does your brand look like in those posts? Are you just talking about yourselves, or do you also bring in some industry relevant content where you're saying, hey, this is something cool that's going on with 3D printing, and my audience is engineers. Let's say you're doing engineering services. You don't do 3D printing, but this is something cool from a major news source in the industry, major news source, and you push it out there for them to help educate them. But what do your posts look like? What's the frequency of your posts? If I come to your page, is it just job posts? Why would I want to follow you? I don't want to work for you, but why would I want to follow you? If you're only posting job posts, you have to post content. You have to educate people, provide them with value, but it has to be done consistently. So go through and audit your entire website, every single page. You want us to do it for you? book a discovery call with us. Go to our contact page, book a discovery call with either Alex or Mason. We'll just do it all for you. We can lay out the strategy for you for free and say, if you want to go from where you're at to the next level, these are the things that you need in place. And if you want us to do it for you, great. Let's do business. Let's partner up. If you don't, you want to do it yourself, that's fine too. And when you run into a roadblock, we're here for you. We got your back. But you have to objectively look at all of the different areas of your website and your social and really be like, is this the best situation that we have going for us? Is this showing our brand in the best light? All right, enough about point 2. Let's talk about point 3, aggressive. You need to get aggressive with your marketing. Like, you need to get aggressive with your brand. You need to look at it and be like, all right, what am I going to do? It's 2024. It's time to focus on digital as hard as physically possible. We need to go fast and go hard. And we need to get aggressive. So it is not posting on LinkedIn twice a week, once a week. It's posting 5 times a week. It's not updating one page of your site, of your main services. It's updating all of the pages. And it's not updating all the pages over 12 to 18 months. It's doing it all in the next 3 months. Get aggressive. Spend the money. Because once you spend that money, again, 24/7, that's living out there. Your website is 24/7. So it has to be up to date, updated copy, new images, new videos, new content. You got to make sure that it's loading fast. You got to make sure there's a company paying attention that if it goes down or if there's a bug or if there's a form not working, that they're aware of it. They put the fix in place. They do it quickly. You have to be aggressive. Spend money in marketing, because the days of marketing just making pretty stuff for industrial trade shows is over. Marketing could be better than your top salesperson, because marketing never sleeps. Marketing can go 24/7. I can drip out things in front of people, right? The days of like, no, marketing sucks, it's just like the redheaded stepchild that spends money and makes stuff pretty is no longer. Because if I have a strong marketing plan, and you may be thinking 24/7, Kyle, you can't possibly be sending people stuff 24/7. No, but when they search, I show up. Or maybe when they're in bed at 11:30 at night looking through some stuff, I have a display ad that shows up on their phone. Because I've done geofencing, because I've targeted them from my website. They came to our website, now I got a cookie on your phone, now I know your IP, now I know your device ID, now I'm going to follow you around the internet for the next 30 days. Just put little ads out in front of you. See if it jogs your memory and you want to click back and come back to me. That system never sleeps. The salespeople, the human element, love salespeople. That is me at my heart, but that works from a certain period of time to another period of time. And you can only do so much. Like, you're not going to text people at 11:30 at night, although I've talked to people on LinkedIn Messenger at like 11:30, midnight, because they're busy doing something. I'm up working. Let's go. Let's talk business. When you want to book time to talk. But you have to get aggressive. You have to say enough is enough. 2023, 2022, whatever you're doing in the past, stop doing it. I'm going to get aggressive in 2024. I'm going to make decisions quickly. I'm going to implement things quickly. I'm going to take time out of the equation, the waiting period, and I'm going to take action today and push things in the right direction. If you already have something that's moving, if you already created the strategy in 2023, push it harder, make it go faster. If you don't have it, just let us do it for you, because we are so aggressive with everything we do. When we do videos, like if you talk to most video places, like, hey, let's do a video. Okay, cool. 15 grand. And we're going to make a video for you. And it's like, wait, what? 15 grand for one video? That's the market norm, right? 4-minute video, corporate overview, fluffy. You've got graphics, B-roll, all the stuff, a map with pins in it that's like, we're global. Some background elevator music. When we go into a video shoot, you're talking about 30 to 35 videos per shoot. And you're like, no way, Kyle, you do that. We do a couple of long form like that, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then everything else is short. Why do you do tons of short content? Well, we do tons of short content because that is what gets the most engagement. We are aggressive. You have to be aggressive. You have to push through the noise. Your target demographic is always being marketed to across all areas, personally and professionally, every single day. So how are you going to get your product or your service in front of them in that small window? Well, you have to be pushing every single day. You can't just say, I sent out one email, I made one phone call, I made 100. I followed this person 16 times. We just had somebody book a discovery call with us last night. he has received like 22 emails over the last year and a half. And we did not stop. And I know the person personally. He wasn't annoyed. It was all valuable content. We were like, hey, do you want to do something? You want to do something? Like change up the scope of it. But it's all about aggression. Stop waiting for people to come to you. Push stuff. Like you have to have both sides of it. When they do search, make sure your brand shows up. What does your brand look like when they search? What do they click on? What do they see first? They may, if you look at your data, you may see that they go to like an internal level 3 page of your site. That is the most landed on page. And you're like, shit, I don't want people seeing that page first. Like that was a test page that we built and it's got some information on it, but that's it. So you have to look at that and be like, this is what they're seeing first. Add call to action, redirects, put some stuff on there, videos, blog content, some more copy, more products or services that you offer, link back to the other pages. Like you have to look at all that stuff and get aggressive on how quick you want to implement it. Do not wait and say, we're going to slow roll this out over the next 12 months. Because guess what? The more that you wait, think about how many missed opportunities that you have. And that's something that people don't typically think of. It's like, yeah, but if I spend this money, what's my ROI on it? Or if I spend this money, I'm going to spend it out a little bit. I want to slow into this. I don't want to spend this much per month. I want to ease into it. And maybe in like 6 months, ramp things up because then I could go a little bit faster. You can do that. It does work. But think about if you would have done that from the get-go, from month 2 to month 6, how many opportunities did you miss because you weren't being aggressive with it? Think about that. Number 4, track engagement. And those of you that follow my content, those of you that have met me in person, talked to me personally, know that I always say that. Track, measure, you have to. There's no other way around it. Every single day I go through our client stuff, dashboards, reports, looking at positions, everything, tracking everything, every single aspect to then determine what is the best strategy. You can sit here in a room with 6 people, 12 people and be like, hey guys, what are we going to do? What's the strategy? And everybody says, I think we should do this. And we come up with a strategy. And we're like, all right, this is it. We're going to launch this strategy in 2024. And you push it off. And then you track that engagement. And some things you have to wait for. 100% agree. SEO positions, those take a long time. You're not active on social and all of a sudden you are. That takes some time to get going. But look at the engagement. You do a sales sequence. You do marketing emails. You do calls. What is the engagement like? What's working? What isn't? Month 2, 3, 4, make those micro adjustments. Anybody that has ever gotten a proposal from us recently, we started sending clients our proven process. What is the process that we go through for every single aspect? Email marketing, CRM management, PPC campaigns, video. What is the process that we have? And we lay it completely out. Month 1 is this. Month 2 is this. Month 3 is that. Month 4 through 6, we're doing these things. But every process is you do something, you measure engagement, you make micro adjustments. You make those micro adjustments, you push it out there, you measure engagement, you measure results, and you make micro adjustments on. It is not a set it and forget it. You can't just say, this is what we're doing for the whole year without making adjustments. But you have to track the data, and the data has to be tracked in an easy way to comprehend it. What matters most to you? It is not impressions, it is not views, it is not web traffic, total traffic. What matters most to you? If you're selling a product, it's selling more products. If you're selling a service, it's getting more RFQs. That's it. That's what matters most. Now, maybe new brand, maybe pushing into a new market, it's market penetration, market exposure. How do you measure that? How do you measure market penetration? More people are talking about us, but if I can't look at it on a graph, I can't measure that. If I can't say 6 more people talked about us. Now, maybe it's something like market penetration and news is picking it up, or media outlets are like, dude, I saw this, we heard about you guys. Maybe you can track how many times people call you about seeing something, yeah. But I want to track everything digitally. I don't want to have to wait and talk to somebody and say, how did you find us? I want all that digital. So how are you going to track that? So figure out what matters most to you. It's most likely revenue. It's most likely deals and opportunities. Are you tracking that? Yeah, Kyle, we're tracking that. We track revenue every month. Okay. Are you tracking it, breaking it down by product category or by service, specific service? Yep, we're already tracking that. Are you tracking it down by how did they come to you? Oh, nope. I mean, they searched us. Well, how do you know that though? Well, we asked them. Are you tracking that? No, we just ask them. All that stuff has to be on forms. It has to be in a CRM system like HubSpot. I should be able to pull a graph, pull a chart, and be able to say, this is what's selling the most. This is what's getting the most attention. These verticals, email, phone, PPC, trade show, etc. This is how many deals each of them brought in. These are the value of these number of deals. These are how many deals closed. Every single month, every single week, tracking that. If you're not tracking that, how could you possibly know what's working and what's not? How could you know which ways to pivot? What areas to get into? You couldn't possibly do that. Not with any level of certainty. You can guess and say, hey, we're getting a lot of opportunities from here. We should do more of that. Yes, you can guess. We have a long sales process. It's not like 2 months and we know if we close a deal. It's not 2 days. It's like 6 months, 9 months. Okay, it'll take a little bit longer to really triple down into something, but you should be able to know based on conversations, what's the quality of these opportunities? What's the quality of these conversations? They're good. They're better in this than they are from that. Okay, cool. Let's do more of that. But you can't possibly know it if you're not tracking. Last one, you need to double down. Whatever you want to call it. Whatever works, put more into it. If you're getting more attention on a type of post on social, do more of it. If you're getting more attention to a specific page on your site, people are landing on that page more, something that you did worked. If you see an adjustment and a shift in what is historical, what's a historical benchmark, made some changes, now this one's showing up higher. We made some changes to this page for SEO rankings, now we're up higher. Well, that worked. Let's do more of that. It's so simple, yet if you don't track the data, then you can't possibly make those decisions and say, I want to do more of that. You can do it based on theory, but unless you have the data, you can't possibly say. Like, I would never go into anybody's office and be like, hey, you know what? We need an extra $100,000 to feed into that bucket. And they'd be like, why? Because I know it's working. How do you know it's working? Well, because they said it's working. No, I would never do that. Like, here's the data to support that it's working. Or here's the adjustments we have to make it work better. So I'm going to need to do X, Y, and Z. But if you're not tracking that data in a system like HubSpot, then, I mean, Salesforce, you can track the data, but Salesforce has limitations. You can do lots of reports in Salesforce. You can show leads, quality of leads, what's the scoring of it, all your custom fields, all the native fields. You can build all that out. You can look at the reporting, but you can't really do marketing outbound from that. You could use their system, which is super expensive and not the best and somewhat clunky, or you can use something like HubSpot. That's why we're a partner agency with them, almost platinum level, because this works the best. You get the best results, quick reporting dashboards. You can create everything quickly, track everything in a central location. But you have to make sure that you're tracking the data in order to figure out what you're going to double down on. So if you guys are like in a situation where you have an industrial brand that needs to be revamped, or you're like, no, we're doing it, you have some questions about it, put it in the comment section right now. Or if you're like, I disagree with what you said in point number 2, Kyle, put them in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about it. If you guys haven't subscribed to YouTube, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. If you want to listen to this in a podcast form, we're on every single podcast. Technical, no. Industrial sales and marketing with me. Check it out so you can listen to me while you're doing other things like cutting the grass or doing your nails. And I will see you on the next one.